this. Which of those is rising intonation? Rising intonation is that pattern that you hear that does like this. It has so many functions in American English. Before we get to those more complicated ones though, let's talk about the basics. Rising intonation is firstly used for yes, no questions. Do you live here? Are you studying English? Notice that all of those have that upward movement. Be careful though, because if it is not a yes, no question, then you do not use rising intonation with those normally. This is also a technique that you can use to turn simple sentences into questions. He's tired?
That means that maybe you don't believe it.
Or you're kind of making sure you understood what the person said. You can use the same technique if you're talking about something and you want to clarify or make sure you understood. The appointment's at 4:30. 4:30? You can use rising intonation to show surprise. For instance, if you think everyone's seen a movie and then your friend says that they haven't, you could say,
"You haven't seen the movie?"
If you have a tag question, which is again used for clarification or to make sure you're going on the plane, right? These sorts of rising intonation patterns indicate that you're not done talking. So even words, for instance, like or often use rising intonation. But even the word in the sentence when you're still thinking can have rising intonation too.
I'm going at 3 o'clock.
The use of rising intonation that students miss the most, though, is that rising intonation is often used to soften or make something sound friendlier. If I'm sick and I'm calling a doctor, when the receptionist answers, they may say something like,
Doctor's office.
it's not necessarily the most welcoming. Instead, if I call a doctor and the receptionist says, doctor's office, that sounds a little bit more inviting, a little friendlier. You do need to be careful with rising intonation because if you use it too much, it can easily become something called uptalk. The last thing that you want to be careful of with intonation is noticing how long it takes to do the rise or the fall. This time difference can indicate different emotions. It is. When combined with pitched, it is. This can be a very effective tool for showing different emotions. We've only talked about half of it though. To get started working on your falling intonation patterns, take a look at this video here.